Welcome to this bonus video, and the purpose of this bonus video is to show you how I rendered the preview image of my engine. Now if you have modeled something really cool high poly like this engine here with a ton of detail on there, you want to make a render that shows this off as good as possible. Now a lot of artists that do this sort of high poly work have a specific render setup that they use for this type of work. It really brings out the details really well. Most of the time people have trouble finding out how to do this exact render setup, and it isn't often shared. So what I'm doing here is a special bonus video for you CG tutorial people, in which I will show how my approach is to this specific problem. This is a little bit more 3ds Max centered, maybe even quite a lot, but the principles still apply, and you should be able to do the same things in another application. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with some material settings to translate those to another program, so you shouldn't either. Anyway, let's get started here. First thing is, these materials are gray, and they have this soft specular on there. So you'll see me increasing the specular level here. I'm not going to boost it all the way to the top, so you get these burnt out specular spots. I want to keep it just below that. You can see in the preview window, I'm actually going to increase the size here. See, if I increase this anymore, I get this burnt out spot. I want to avoid that because it doesn't really look all that good. And also make the specular a little bit sharper. Maybe take this down a tad more, and something like that. I want this wide soft specular on there. That's one of the more important aspects. I don't want that fake CG like burnt out sharp specular, which is a lot harder to get right. Now another thing that's quite important is there's this fall off on the edges of a material. And how do you do this? Well, in 3D Studio Max you can override your diffuse color with a fall off. I'm just going to choose the fall off here. There we go. I'm going to choose Fresnel, and you see the colors have changed. It's black in the center, and the more it goes to the edges, the more white it gets. I'm just gonna try and open this preview window here. You see, at the edges it gets more white. Now that color isn't really optimal, so I'm just going to copy this color, go back here and paste that color over there. The effect isn't very obvious now. Yes, you can fix that. Copy that fall off map we just created, paste it here as a copy. We go in there, I'm going to change this back to black, and now you can see that my fall off edge is becoming a lot more obvious. Now one thing I might want to change is this index of refraction. It's not going to have so much effect actually, so I guess we'll just leave it at that. So anyway, there's our fall off on our material. You could add an extra in here to get some reflection on there. I'll just do it to show you how to get that done. In reflection, you choose another fall off. You set it to Fresnel again. In the white part, you pick a ray trace material, which you set to reflection, and just basically gonna leave it at that. Now if I open this here, you can see that it's going to reflect more at the edges. Really keep in mind, if I turn this one on, it's gonna get a lot slower to render. You really have to keep that in mind. Now once you have that done, if you're using scanline like I'm doing here, nothing advanced with the mental ray, you don't need that. I'm gonna select everything and apply this material. Now that's not it. We still have more to do, and as a matter of fact, I'm actually going to make this color a little bit darker. And there we go. Select everything again, and just to get the preview in our viewport, I'm going to paste the color there. There we go. That's our start. Now another important thing is you need to get the lighting right here. I'm just going to place a camera here with Control C, hit P again, and then change my viewports around, hit Z so everything is within view, and it's especially my top view that I need here. I want to add a light in there that casts a shadow. Just go to standard lights, select this Omni light, place it there, and move this up. Now hit Control L so I can actually see where this light is hanging out. I want to place it a little bit higher so everything gets lit. Auto saving there. There we go. And I need to move this a little bit more over there. I don't want the front to be lit too much. I'm just going to use that view to judge things. There we go. That should be about right. Alright, now it's important that you turn on shadows for this light. And if you want to get the best possible shadows, you can use area shadows. Again, a warning, these are slow. Have to watch out with that. You can increase the quality here also. I wouldn't recommend you do that all too soon. And once you have that, the basic setup also requires a skylight. I'm going to place a skylight here. And this skylight, we're going to reduce its multiplier a bit, something like 0.3, maybe yep. And that bluish color, the default one isn't exactly very pretty, so I'm going to switch it over to a more gray bluish one. Same for the color of this this main light you have here. I'm going to choose a warmer color there. I have to watch out not to exaggerate too much. Something like that. That should be the basic setup. I'm going to leave everything like this. Well, maybe just turn it into an HD format render, 720. And if you want to see what is in the picture, just hit Shift F and it shows you everything that is in the image. I'm going to hit render now and pause things so you get to see the completed render. So there we go, that's the completed render. And there's a few things we haven't done yet. It didn't take so long also. One thing we forgot is the skylight isn't really affecting this thing all too much. There isn't any traced light in here, and also the reflections aren't on. I think I'll turn both on, and let me just close this. To get the skylight to work, there's one more thing you need to do. You need to go to Advanced Lighting and select Light Tracer here. Again, warning, this is going to increase render times a lot. I'm going to do the same thing and go down here and turn on Reflection. I'm going to hit the Render button again. Maximize this. Pause it and I'll show you right away what this looks like. Okay, so here's our rendered image, and let me just take a look at what the render time was. Render time is about 6 minutes, and the previous one was 23 seconds. So render time has been multiplied by 12 by turning on Light Tracer and the reflections. But as you can see, this does look a lot better. The reflections, arguably, they're not needed. But this is a nice way to present your highpoly renders, and this is also the render that you'll be seeing as the preview for this week's issue. Anyway, that was it, guys, and hope you learned something from this small bonus part. See you in the next part.